Thanks, Tom. Look who's using my library. Hooray, it worked. Hello. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. We're coming up on the end here. I spent the whole week trying to get Agnes to move out. I went as far as Thanksgiving weekend in the game, and she's not budging, and I'm getting bored and frustrated. But I'm just going to show you some happenings. We got our very first Lily of the Valley, hooray, 5 stars. So we accomplished that, I'm happy. But yes, we are coming up on the end of this little challenge series I came up with. And part of the reason is fatigue. I'm just not recovering from, I get one thing and then another thing happens and oh my gosh. So at the moment it's a stomach virus. But anyway, I did get the 10th villager. We needed 10 and I kept putting it off. And it took, oh boy, 89 tickets? I think it was 89 tickets. And I was at my wit's end. I just didn't want to go on. I'm not good with rules, regulations, guidelines, deadlines. I'm not good with it. I need to go at my own pace. I did plant the house a little bit back from where I had the original line. It's still cramped though, but I'm going to make it work. I'm not going to stress too much about the aesthetics anymore. We have five stars, yes, and our lilies of the valley are coming in, so I'm pleased. Decorating this house is going to be a bit of a pain, but I will figure something out. Now that we know who's there, I can get a bit of a better judgment call on their personality. And then we have to work on getting rid of Agnes. Agnes does not belong here. So this is our 10th villager. 89 tickets. But at least I found her. She was on our list. Well, okay. I put her on the list to replace Agnes. And after 80 trips, I was, oh my gosh. And that isn't even recording it. That's just popping on the island, looking at who it is, and leaving. It's still exhausting. It's mind-numbing. And I think it's because there are just way too many steps that you have to go through for each island. Although I don't like to complain. So many people love to complain and dog about this game, and I'm just so tired of it. Everybody just sounds so ungrateful and so spoiled, and I don't want to be one of them. So yeah, we got Canberra, and I chose her. I don't think she's the most attractive sisterly on the list. And this is what her house looks like on the inside. I know it's been a couple days, but kind of hard to catch them at home. But at least we have all 10. She's a beach girl. I guess this is part of the Australia theme or something. I do not care for the koalas, so I don't have that many on my islands. And I just think her face is very sad. She's in the same category as Tabby. It's just unfortunate that they did that. But oh well, what are you going to do? So, in my quest to get rid of Agnes, and I did this, like I said, all week. I knew the days that the villagers were going to ask if they could leave. And I chose those. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and yesterday, Friday. No, today's Friday. I did it today as well. I chose one villager that did ask to leave. I did say, yeah, okay. I just fell madly in love with him. And I didn't think he belonged on my island of Uggums. So when it was his turn to ask to leave, I said, okay, my darling. So I replaced Limburg with this guy. And this is one of the villagers I was looking for. This took 64 tickets. But I found Moose. 64 tickets. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, I'm just like the school lunch lady today. But Moose would be much more difficult to fall in love with than I, probably being biased because he was a grump. And I might as well touch on that topic as well. I know this is my challenge, and I know I'm supposed to be living with a bunch of villagers that nobody else really cares for, or a majority of YouTubers tend to complain about or put down or make fun of or just despise. And I'm not in their camp a vast majority of the time. So it is a bit unfortunate. But I'm having so much difficulty. Yep. That was the number of fossils that it took. Okay, I got it backwards. So it was 64 for Canberra, 89 for Moose. Oh my gosh. Oh, so you're going to have to ignore the dates as well. And there she is. I am getting duplicate and triplicate asks. And I'm even telling them, no, please don't go. And they're like, oh, all right, well, then I'm here for good. And then you do the time skip. I got 4 birds. I have never had 4 birds on that bulletin board before. Never. And there's Canberra. Will 4 owls fit there at night? I don't know. So we're going to be looking at campers while I was doing the time traveling to hopefully get Agnes to leave. Every once in a while, Isabel would say, hey, guess what? We got a camper. So I figured I would check them out. Just, maybe we'll get lucky. But my biggest fear was, well, if I did get lucky and I did ask them to stay, they would ask somebody that we didn't want to leave. So there's Fauna. Met her quite a few times on all of these villager hunts that I went on. Well, I only went on two very extensive villager hunts that took quite a bit out of me. But my goal here is to get Agnes to ask to leave. And I did it all week long. I went to every single one of those days. I think it was the 8th, the 15th, the 29th, whatever, however, every 7 days through November. And it was always the same ones. And I'm confused because, like I said, even after I say, no, please don't go, I thought that's it. They're not going to ask again. Well, that is proven wrong because now I'm a Deliveroo driver. Because I did get my scooter. I finally got my Vespa. And I just recently got my hoopty. And it was red, so that was good. Yeah. Hi, Ione. I also met her at least 4 times on the 2 villager hunts. She was actually a repeat. And then she shows up in my camp. I'm just so worried that my next island, which that's the other thing I thought I would say, I'm very anxious to start a new island, and I just want it to be my island with my favorites. And just take my time. The issue I found, though, when I was doing the time traveling to get Agnes to ask to leave, the mole cricket starts up in, I think, November. And, oh my gosh, that sound. So I'm thinking maybe I will just do September and October. I don't know. I have been asking myself about Halloween as well. This is camper number 3, by the way. Hippo, Limburg, barreled. Oh, that's Megan. You know, I like her. She's growing on me, even though she has a sideways mouth. We know another Megan who talks out of the side of her mouth, don't we? But I like her. She's cute. She is growing on me, and I really, really appreciate her. She's so cute. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh dear. Oh, about Halloween. I just don't think I can do it. I don't know. I don't think I can, because my thinking was that, well, now that we're coming up to the end here, I could just time travel to Halloween and get all these kids out here dressed up and have some fun, but I don't think I can bring myself to do it. I'm just not ready yet for that holiday. So I'm just gonna end it with a crowning video. This is our last camper. And this is the one, Midge. This is the one that made me realize, wait a minute, I have Midge's amiibo card. So I grabbed my amiibo cards, I started going through them, and I found one that kind of, sort of fits in with our island. Now, I like them. I even have their amiibo card. But I have heard negative comments about this particular villager. Not a lot. And since we can't get Agnes to ask, every single one, Gruff, all of them have asked me at least 3 times if they could move away. And every single time I say, no, please don't. And they still ask, except Agnes. So I grabbed my amiibo card, and I did it my way. And I think, like I said, she kind of, sort of, very minusculely fits on this island. Red was selling another froggy chair, so I grabbed it. And I used this amiibo to get rid of Agnes, since she just wasn't budging. Toward the end, she wasn't even coming out of her house, no matter what time of the day I went. And I was getting so frustrated. So there she is. That's Velma. Snooty goat. No, sisterly? Snooty. She's a snooty. She's a snooty. Velma is a snooty goat. And all of them boxes there are music instruments. She loves her music. I love her. I think she is adorable, and I like her name. I like who she stands for. But I have heard some negative comments about her. So I figured she'll have to do. Because I just can't do this anymore. I'm over it. And the thing I'm trying desperately to explain, and I just don't do a good job, I'm sorry. I cannot pick any of these villagers as the ugliest or one I just don't like. I want off the island. I fell in love with every single one of them. And I mean every single one of them. And my two favorites are Beryl and Al. So how am I supposed to do this? This is what the island currently looks like. Yeah. I don't know. Aside from Canberra and Tabby having unfortunate facial features, Al and Hippo having unfortunate coloring, Gruff having unfortunate mutton chops, and Coach and Beryl having a 5 o'clock shadow. You know, I think it's kind of funny. A lot of guys walk around with a 5 o'clock shadow in real life, but it doesn't seem to work on these critters. I think a vast majority of you just want cutesy, pinky, bubblegummy, ooh-woo, pop music type, you know, kind of a vibe. And I do like it too. I'm not saying I don't. I do go for, well, actually I go for beauty more than cutesy. I was never into pop music. So yeah, that's who we're going to have to choose from. I had hoped, I really wanted, is his name? It's the hamster. Is his name Rodney? I think if we had had Rodney on the island, it would have been an easy crowning of the king of Uggs. And he just never showed up. Jitters never showed up. That's where I'm at. The next video you see will be where I crown the winner, and we are going to move on from there. Thanks for being here. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.